Hey guys, this is Gabriel here for Renaissance Poop, and today we are going to be doing the non-spoiler review for Star Wars The Last Jedi. And my god, what a movie. What a damn lovely movie. I have never, ever been more in love with Star Wars than I am right now. That movie has impressed the hell out of me. There's a lot of the fandom right now that absolutely hates it, bashing the directors, the Lucasfilm. They're totally bashing Lucasfilm, Disney. Man, I don't agree with you. You guys can have your own opinions, but I definitely don't agree with any of them. Actually, no, that's wrong. I agree with minor stuff, but there's no need to go bashing other people for it. But I'll get into that topic in a whole nother video. So let's review this movie a little bit. For the non-spoiler review, we're going to talk about things like tonality, visuals, the themes, things like that. We're not going to get into any details. I will do my full spoiler review as my next video. It's going to be a little lengthy, but there's a lot to cover. So let's get started. Why do I love The Last Jedi so much? Well, the first and most important reason is that it subverts all expectations. Like, you could not see any of that shit coming. A bunch of the fandom, myself included, went into this movie thinking things would go a certain way based on our experience with the original trilogy or the prequels. And you know what? I've never been more glad to be wrong going into a movie. Like, the surprises, the twists, the way it plays on old themes, the light side, the dark side, and how they're both one thing. It expands the lore of the Star Wars universe. It is amazing. I've never nerded out so hard. It subverts all the archetypes, all of the archetypes used in the original trilogy and the prequels for all of our heroes. It changes them, it twists them, it makes the characters more human, so I really love that. Some of those characters being Luke, Rose, Kylo, especially Kylo, Rey, Finn, Leia even. Man, I just love all those arcs. Especially Kylo's and Rey's and Luke's. My god. The best thing about it is it shows that the Star Wars universe have people just like us. People are fallible, they make mistakes, they have doubts, they have fears, and they fall prey and victim to those things, and it's how they rise above it, or how they choose to overcome those fears or succumb to those fears. That makes all the difference in their lives and in history and things going forward. So I really, absolutely love the fact that it covers topics like that, and it murkies up the water a bit. Star Wars was getting stagnant, and not just my opinion, a lot of critics' opinions, a lot of fans' opinions. Star Wars needed a change, and this is the movie for change. This movie sets you up from change. From the get-go, even in the trailers, it was warning you, this will not go the way that you think. Luke Skywalker says that in all the trailers, and hey guys, that's exactly what happens. You can't predict half this stuff. My second favorite thing was all the visuals. The color palettes were amazing. The contrast between light, dark, the blood red for dark, the light and the murky grays for the light side. The way they interplay. There was one scene in this movie that just absolutely blew my mind. Like, my jaw dropped in the theater. My girlfriend was sitting next to me, and I had a cousin there as well. And I just turned around like, what the fuck just happened? Like, goddamn. Like, I could watch that scene over and over again. I think it's my favorite scene in Star Wars now, just purely based on a visual standpoint. And almost nothing to do with the story, though it does contribute to the story in a major way. The other thing I really love is the way the shots are made. Rian Johnson and his crew shot the movie quite differently from previous Star Wars movies. The previous movies were always center framed or coming in from the side. In this movie, we have a lot of facial close-ups, a lot of small nuances. You can see the micro expressions in the face. It's just amazing. It gives it a raw, gritty kind of feel. And you know what? Most people won't like that because it makes Star Wars seem like it's more set in our universe. And Star Wars, to a lot of people, is escapism. It's fantasy, and that's okay. You can have that. But for me, personally, as a fan growing up as a kid, I started out with the special editions. I actually didn't like Star Wars at first. My parents got me the trilogy set for the special editions for Christmas one day, and I never watched them. I didn't bother. I was actually really disappointed with that Christmas present, and I got sick, and I stayed home from school, I think for almost a week or two, and there's nothing to do, and I popped those movies in, and I fell in love ever since. Went back, I saw the originals in our unaltered version. A friend of mine had VHS copies. I love the prequels. There's a lot of things I hate about the prequels too, but I wouldn't change them. They depicted a certain era in the Star Wars universe, and it was that way for a reason. And I love the sequels now too. I love Rogue One. I can't wait for the Solo movie. So it's the perfect time to be a Star Wars fan. Yeah, you might not like it, but you gotta accept change at some point. Star Wars needs to change, and I'm glad it's doing that. The third and final thing, I already kind of covered it, but everything was totally unexpected. You could not predict half that crap. Like, yeah, the unexpectedness of this movie was brilliant. The power of the Force as well is another thing. You really get to see the Force. In the past movies, in the prequels, in the original trilogy, the Force was mainly used to pull, push, used in combat. But it was parlor tricks, man. You were floating, you were levitating things. Okay, cool, it's powerful. But now we really, really get to see the power of the Force. Like, it bends the rules, it changes them a little bit for the better, I believe. They will be expanded on and probably in other media. That's one of the gripes, actually, of the fandom is bending and changing the rules of the Force. But what they need to understand is Star Wars is a cash cow. Stuff is always going to be explained in other media, comic books, novels, games. It's always been that way since the EU and everything that's been going on. It's always going to be that way. And that's cool, man. I'm down to buy the books. I'm down to buy the comic books. I'm down to play the games. That's part of the fun of being in Star Wars. Tension in the movie is quite high throughout the whole thing. You're on the edge of your seat. There are parts where it slows down, but I personally don't feel like they detract too much from the movie. The rest of the movie is so action-packed, and the stakes are so high that you're constantly on the edge of your seat, even after rewatching it a little bit with a really shitty version. It's just, the tension's still there, and I love it. Guys, I personally haven't felt this way about a Star Wars movie since Empire Strikes Back. Empire Strikes Back is almost everyone's favorite movie. It's so different from A New Hope. New Hope set up this sense of optimism after Luke destroys the Death Star, and then the Empire Strikes Back comes in and just blows that shit out the water. The movie ends on a down note. There's a lot of grit, grime, and there's a lot of things we learn about the Force. It's a lot darker color palettes. Man, this movie is the exact same way, but it's not a rehash. It takes themes from the Empire Strikes Back, from Return of the Jedi, some prequel era themes, but it does not rehash the story at all. It's so, just like the Empire Strikes Back at the time it came out, it is so, man, I'm at a loss for words. It is so, goddamn, I'd say it's so decisive that it's dividing the fan base. It's changing Star Wars just like The Empire Strikes Back changed Star Wars at the time. And I believe if we had social media at that time, the reactions would have been much the same. I believe there was a New York Times article. I think one of the other YouTubers covered it, Prince at Urban Acolyte TV. On his video, he covered it, saying New York Times gave The Empire Strikes Back a bad review because it was such a downer, and it was so dark, it was so different from the first movie. And they called Return of the Jedi a return to form. And this is kind of the same thing going on here, but it's stronger because we have a social media presence now. But social media is a whole nother topic I'm going to cover in another video. I will be doing a video on what I think of the fan reactions to this movie and how they're treating the cast, crew, directors, and other community members based on their own opinions. That's a topic for a whole nother time. All in all, I bloody love that movie. I can't wait to watch it again and again and again and again. It is my favorite Star Wars movie, hands down. Empire Strikes Back used to be that one for me, and this has totally replaced it. So my top 3 would have to be Last Jedi is on my number 1 slot, Empire Strikes Back. And then I believe it's going to be It's a toss-up between Return of the Jedi and Revenge of the Sith. Yeah, I like some of the prequel stuff. Sue me, I don't care. But yeah, thanks guys for watching. If you've seen the movie or if you haven't, or are you planning to see it, let me know what you think in the comments below. Leave any suggestions for videos. Please like and subscribe. Turn on notifications, hit that little bell. I believe I'm going to have contests coming in the future, so subscribing and liking is going to be important to win some of the prizes. And thank you to new subscribers. I've only been at this for about a month and a half, a little over a month and a half. And I believe I'm at 14 subscribers. That's more than I ever thought I'd get at this point for myself. Thank you to everyone who's watched some of the videos, especially the short Porg trailer video that people keep getting redirected to, so thank you, YouTube, and people searching about Porgs. You shot my view count way up there. I appreciate that. I appreciate everyone's support for watching videos, and yeah, I'll see you guys soon for the full Last Jedi spoiler review.